What is up, maniacs? It is me once again, FSPWorks, but you can always call me Fred. And as usual, get ready for our bumper to bumper banger! So for today, I will not be co-hosting with someone. However, for this program, I'll be featuring myself, yet another legendary 4x4, which brought generations to safaris, deserts, combats, and it even saved many lives from all over the world. You probably know what it is, and it came with different variants as well. And so, without further ado, let us discuss the history of a legendary Toyota Land Cruiser.
In the height of the Korean War in the early 1950s, the US Army needed military equipment and vehicles to back up the Western South Korea against the North. During that time, when Japan was still under the occupation of the Americans, the United States sought help from Japan in developing a military jeep that is inspired by the American military jeep. And so, Toyota developed a military jeep in 1951, calling it the Toyota Jeep BJ. And no, don't get me twisted with the BJ that you know, don't be green-minded, because B in Toyota represents the B-type engine, and so it uses a B-type 3.4-liter inline-six, adequate enough for its utility use. Now, J represents the Land Cruiser nameplate. In 1954, Toyota had to rename their Jeep with something else, due to infringement issues, and so they renamed it the Land Cruiser as we know today. That became the start of the Land Cruiser's identity as a more civilian 4x4 vehicle. In the late 1950s, Toyota started to sell their vehicles in the United States. One of their first offerings were the Crown and the 20 Series Toyota Land Cruiser. The 20 Series was powered by an F-type engine, a 3.5-liter inline-six. The initial launch of their vehicles in the US weren't really yet a success since one of their vehicles aren't yet capable of handling the American roads. Despite its poor sales in the United States in the late 1950s, the 40 Series Land Cruiser, launched in 1960, became a hit in the United States and elsewhere in the world. It was popularly known as the FJ40. They were powered by an F-Series inline-six gasoline engine. There were also diesel offerings that used B-Series inline-4 diesel engines, calling them the BJ40. Now don't get me wrong again with that BJ, alright? Don't be green-minded. Different body styles were also available in this model year, such as the J43 and the J45. The production went on until 1984. A new breed of Land Cruiser was born in 1967. It was built as a wagon-type Land Cruiser, calling it the 55 Series. It was nicknamed by the enthusiasts as the Iron Pig, due to its pig-like appearance from the grille. With its van-like body, split bench seats, and split rear doors, it was made to be a capable family off-road vehicle. It is powered with different options of an inline-six gasoline and inline-4 diesel engines. Now, this Iron Pig started the whole Land Cruiser family tree. While the 40 Series came from a utilitarian military vehicle, which later were classified as heavy-duty and light-duty SUV, the 55 Series started the station wagon type Land Cruiser that most of us know today. As a matter of fact, the 55 Series wagon was later followed by the 60 Series in 1980. Comparing it to the more Spartan 55 Series, the 60 Series looks a little bit more pedestrian and family-friendly. It was also much comfortable, almost like a Jeep Grand Wagoneer of its day. Driving experience and feel also felt more superior compared to the 55 Series. It had power options of a 2F 4.2-liter inline-six, a 3F 4-liter inline-six, and even a 12HT turbo diesel inline-six engine. It had creature comforts that were mostly present in a more upscale vehicle of its time period, such as a power mirror, sunroof, and even a factory-fitted winch. Beside the 60 Series was a lighter 70 Series Land Cruiser. Launched in 1984, it was a successor to the already iconic 40 Series. It had a short and long wheelbase variants. The 70 series still lives up until the present day and is still being sold new today as a heavy-duty category Land Cruiser in forms of a pickup and a utility vehicle in most parts of Middle East, Africa, and Australia. And in 1990, the same 70 series started the light utility vehicle category called the Land Cruiser Prado. Also in 1990, the 80 series Land Cruiser wagon was launched. It was more streamlined compared to the 60 series. It also had most luxurious amenities at least for 1990s standards such as power seats, leather seats, sunroof, and among others. The 80 series had different engine options such as a gasoline-powered 1F CFE and a diesel-powered 1HDT inline-six diesel engine. Those are two of the most notable engines of the 80 series. An optional front and rear locking differentials were also available. In 1995, a more luxurious version of the 80 series was launched by Toyota's luxury division, Lexus. The Lexus LS450 did not have much of a difference to the 80 series though. It had the same 4.5-liter engine and almost the same specs as the top spec 80 series. Other than its outside appearance and different emblems, it did not have much of a difference. Now, the 90 series Land Cruiser Prado came out in 1996 in the light-duty category. Compared to the 70 series, it is rounder and more modern looking. It is also smaller compared to its predecessor. It was powered by a V6 gasoline and an inline-4 diesel and gasoline engines. In 1998, a more luxurious Land Cruiser 100 series was unveiled. The most noticeable part of the 100 series, aside from its new design elements, are the lug nuts. The wheels only had 5 lug nuts compared to its predecessor. It went on to the 200 series that was later introduced in the late 2000s. It had an option of a gasoline-powered 2U ZFE V8, making it the first ever Land Cruiser to have a V8. A 4.5-liter 24-valve inline-six turbo diesel engine was also available. It had its noticeable cutting-edge features during its production run, such as an electronic modulated suspension and night view, which allows drivers to see better at night. The 100 series was on its way to becoming a luxury SUV, just like a Ford Expedition and a Lincoln Navigator. And despite of it being a more luxurious Toyota kept true to its already proven and tested reliability. No wonder that old Land Cruisers such as the 80 series and 100 series are shooting up in value. Even the Land Cruiser Prado 120 series wasn't short of the luxury amenities. Introduced in 2002, the 120 Land Cruiser Prado was almost car-like to drive. It offered a 3-liter EFI and common rail diesels, a 2.5-liter inline-4 petrol, and a 4-liter V6 petrol engine. In 2003, a funky-looking concept of the FJ Cruiser was unveiled at the Chicago Auto Show. It featured a retro design, inspired by the iconic 40 series Toyota Land Cruiser. It went to production later in 2006. It offered a 4-liter V6 with options of an automatic and manual transmission. The funky retro design did sell well to the customers. It wasn't the most fuel-efficient vehicle, nor was it comfortable to be in. However, the capability, reliability, and the handsomeness became the selling point of this vehicle. Before we dive into the 200 series, which was introduced in 2007, let us give this humble Land Cruiser Prado a chance. In 2009, the 150 series Prado was introduced. Well, it didn't make much of a difference from the predecessor. However, it had more high-tech features and a slightly new design. It had options of a 3-liter EFI and a common rail diesel, and a 4-liter V6. The 2.8-liter 1GD FTV engine was later introduced to the facelift. Now, we go back to the king of all Land Cruisers. In 2007, the 200 series Land Cruiser was introduced. It was the largest and the most luxurious Land Cruiser yet, at least by its time period and even by today's standards. It had options of a 4.5-liter twin-turbo diesel V8, a 5.7-liter naturally aspirated V8, and a 4-liter V6. Earlier models were mated to a 6-speed automatic. and the 2016 facelift had an 8-speed automatic, which improved its acceleration and performance. The 200 series was also the pioneer of Toyota's crawl control, which literally drives the vehicle out of rough and sticky situations in both forward and reverse. The production lasted up until 2021. It was indeed one of the most desirable Land Cruisers that ever came out. It was luxurious enough to keep the occupants comfortable during a long trip, yet just enough for it not to be too overwhelmingly high maintenance and too high tech. The engines and powertrains did its job effortlessly and reliably. Everything was very well put together in this Land Cruiser. No wonder it lasted for more than a decade. As the world goes through a health and economic crisis in 2020, the 300 series was introduced in 2021. It had a perfectly new design from the exterior, a huge grille, a sleeker design, and a full tailgate instead of the traditional split tailgate. The 6 lug nuts are finally back after more than 20 years, and for the first time in a Land Cruiser wagon was a flat folding automatic third row seats. It was powered by a 3.3-liter turbo diesel V6 or a 3.5-liter twin-turbo petrol V6. Those two engines are significantly lighter, but they also had significant improvements in horsepower, torque, efficiency, and environmental consciousness. And for the first time ever, a performance version of the Land Cruiser was introduced. The Land Cruiser GR Sport is a much sportier version of a regular Land Cruiser. Engine and powertrain remains the same. However, what sets it apart from the regular Land Cruiser are the front and rear diff locks, adaptive variable suspension, and e-kinetic dynamic suspension system. It also features blacked out rims, a prominent Toyota lettering on the grille, blacked out fenders and lower bumpers, and a Gazoo racing livery. For over 70 years, the Toyota Land Cruiser had stood the test of time. It became a gold standard in off-road capability, durability, reliability, and longevity. It is no surprise that for over 70 years, it had won different championships, got families to adventures, helped in agriculture, wildlife preservation, VIP security, and it saved many lives, as it was a vehicle of choice for humanitarian organizations such as Red Cross, United Nations, among others. You can never go wrong with the mighty Toyota Land Cruiser.
And there you have it, folks. We have come to an end of our journey through the rich history of the Toyota Land Cruiser. And it will continue to serve us for years to come. It will continue to take us almost anywhere and everywhere without any trouble at all, almost. And as always, catch us next week for yet another bumper to bumper banger!
What is up, Maniacs? Once again, it's JCT, and I'm here to personally thank you for reaching the end of our video. Now, if you've liked what you've seen so far, please do like, share, and subscribe. And also, don't forget to ring the notification bell for more bumper to bumper bangers!